Yes, yes. Come here, my son. Welcome to Ruffing the Passer, the show where I talk football, miscellaneous stuff, and mostly football. I'm your host, Sam Ruffing, and today I will be giving my thoughts on the latest quarterback competitions going on around the NFL, including but not limited to the New Orleans Saints, the Denver Broncos, the Chicago Bears, the San Francisco 49ers, the New England Patriots, and I guess the Indianapolis Colts. Let's start off with the New Orleans Saints and their competition between Jameis Winston, former first overall pick in the 2015 NFL Draft, versus Taysom Hill, quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, wildcat perfectionist of the New Orleans Saints, former undrafted star of BYU, suffering a season-ending injury every single year there, thus making him undrafted. It's quite a shame, really. But he's back. He's competing for the starting job. He had signed a massive contract this last year, worth $140 million, and every year is voidable. So if he's cut, then they don't have to pay him any of that. Besides what they paid him already. I'm not sure how much is guaranteed. So that's who's competing. Jameis Winston last year they were both on the Saints last year. Jameis Winston, last time he was a starting quarterback, played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2019. If a lot of you remember this, if you're a football fan, he threw 5,000 yards, leading the NFL. He also threw 33 touchdowns, which is pretty amazing. First year in Bruce Arians' offense. He also threw 30 interceptions, and had 7 fumbles. And 7 of those turnovers were returned for touchdowns. So, all in all, he scored 40 touchdowns that year, which should have gotten him MVP over Lamar Jackson. But hey, anyways, no, he didn't play well last time. But he's been working hard. I mean, really working hard. He says he's been working harder than Dak Prescott, which is pretty impressive if you're working harder than Dak Prescott. But and then Taysom Hill has been working hard too, I'm sure. I don't know. He's been with the Saints for a while. He was, I guess, the projected future besides Teddy Bridgewater, but he's no longer with the Saints. He's in his own quarterback battle. We'll get on that later. He's been around since 2018, I think, as the Saints' Swiss Army knife, so he plays tight end a lot, and he's actually blocked a punt and run for touchdown, thrown for touchdowns, and all that. My projected winner for this competition between Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill, I'm going to say Jameis Winston just because he's had more experience as a starting quarterback. He learned under Drew Brees, so did Taysom, but he's got more arm talent, like a ridiculous arm. Anyways, Taysom Hill will probably be cut just because of his massive contract, but I can see him either re-signing or signing to another team who potentially needs a quarterback. But yeah, I think Jameis Winston is definitely going to win. Moving on to the Bears quarterback competition between Andy Dalton and Justin Fields. Andy Dalton last year played pretty okay for the Dallas Cowboys as a backup. He wasn't supposed to play, but Dak Prescott's ankle just got completely destroyed, and I feel bad for him. But Dalton came in, he played well, went 5-6. The Bears gave him a contract, which is a little weird because of all the teams where he was going to go. Why the Bears? And so the Bears were needing another quarterback because Andy Dalton's not going to be your future. He's just not that player. He's a good guy. He's a good quarterback, but he's a good backup. But then they were gifted a perfect little crumb of a nugget, as it were. A nugget of gold when Justin Fields, the almost everyone's number 2 quarterback in the 2021 NFL Draft, fell to them at number 11 overall, where they traded up with the New York Giants to select him. One pick before the Dallas... No, wait, that was a different one. No, yeah, they traded up to select Justin Fields, who hoping he become the future of their franchise, and he's in a quarterback battle with Andy Dalton, as mentioned. According to reports, Justin Fields is doing pretty dang well there in Chicago. But the thing is, it's a rookie quarterback, so so they don't play well in their first year. They're usually sat, and Justin Fields is a little raw in Ohio State. He has to get used to the NFL because Ohio State quarterbacks are generally just given great receiving cores right off the bat. Every throw is open, kind of like with Alabama quarterbacks, so they're going to get used to that. So I think Justin Fields won't win it, but I think he will start at some point this year if Andy Dalton doesn't play well. And I think for the sake of Matt Nagy's job, he's going to start Andy Dalton, although if he wanted to start Justin Fields and then have the excuse that, oh, I need another year because this quarterback's young, I could definitely see that, but I think it's going to be Andy Dalton who wins. Moving on to some other miscellaneous quarterback competitions going on right now. New England is having a competition between Cam Newton, former MVP of the NFL, trying to secure his job for one more year so he can make a massive payday with another team next year, and Mac McCorkle-Jones, their first-round quarterback out of Alabama, who weirdly walks way too much like Bill Belichick and is kind of the perfect fit, and it's a little scary. Like, he just fits New England. He went to Alabama. He was coached under Nick Saban, and he's good friends with Bill Belichick, so he fell to 15 after being projected the number 3 overall pick to San Fran. I'll get on to their quarterback competition next, but I think that, again, Bill Belichick wants to win now, because not for his job, but just for his just so that he can prove to people that, Brady was not the reason they won all those Super Bowls, because I don't think he was necessarily the reason he won all those Super Bowls, okay? Let's be honest. That Patriots roster was great in the early 2000s, and lately, and also later. They were also great, and yeah. So let's just pump the brakes on it was all Brady. Anyways, Cam Newton, I think, will definitely win. Well, not definitely win, but he'll win the starting job. And the thing about this is you have to tailor your offense to one or the other, because Cam is a run-first quarterback, while Mac Jones is definitely more of a pocket passer, kind of like what they had with Brady. But I think Mac, again, like Justin Fields, is the future. But I don't know if he's going to start this year, only because the offense you'd have to completely throw around, change up. Like they're operating different systems depending on
quarterback. But I think Bill Belichick wants to win now, so it's most likely going to be Cam Newton winning. Though I know it's going to be Cam Newton winning. Sure, Matt could win it and surprise us all, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's going to be Cam, and then moving further west all the way to San Francisco, Trey Lance, the third overall pick of the San Francisco 49ers, who they traded up 2 first-round picks to get to number 3, is competing against former Patriots backup, potential heir to Tom Brady until he was traded, Jimmy Garoppolo, who finds himself in this position because he keeps getting injured, and he's, last time he played and when he played in the Super Bowl, they were kind of the reason the Niners lost, let's be honest. So let me check my time here. I'm 10 minutes into the video. Okay, I gotta speed this up. Anyways, Trey Lance versus Jimmy Garoppolo. This one's interesting because according to reports, Trey Lance has been playing like Patrick Mahomes, like a young Patrick Mahomes, which is really scary to think about. But then there are also reports that Jimmy Garoppolo is playing well, and I have no clue what the heck the Niners are going to do, because you can't get any information about what they're going to do. Like, their Jimmy Garoppolo trade happened out of nowhere. The draft pick for Trey Lance happened out of nowhere, so you never know what the Niners are going to do. If I were to wager a guess, I'd say Jimmy Garoppolo wins, but is traded before week 8, before the deadline. He's going to play well because he's used to the Kyle Shanahan system, assuming he doesn't get injured. Hopefully he doesn't, for his sake. Trey Lance is a great young prospect, incredibly raw out of North Dakota State, but he's got a lot of potential. I'd kind of wish he'd fallen to Denver at number 9, but that's just life. And speaking of Denver, I'd like to get on to their quarterback competition between Drew Locke, the most underrated quarterback in the NFL, versus Teddy Bridgewater. I know I'm going to get hate for that. But anyways, so Drew Locke was the incumbent starter of the 2020 Denver Broncos. Their projected future quarterback who was going to take Kansas City down and lead them back to the promised land until everything went wrong. Because the offensive coordinator who had helped them in 2019 with his great rookie year was fired for some odd reason, and they hired Pat Shurmur, who was supposed to be great, but it turns out can't run a goal line anything except Melvin Gordon. But yeah, Drew Locke did not play well last year. Had 15 interceptions and 16 touchdowns, only 3,000 yards. He got injured at one point, which I forgot about. Not gonna lie, he tied for the league lead in interceptions. But he's got to face Teddy Bridgewater, who was also supposed to be the Carolina Panthers' future quarterback. He signed a massive deal there. But then he also didn't play well, and he actually lost to Drew Locke in week 15. Yeah, week 15 at Carolina. And so the Panthers were like, well, shoot, this guy's not the answer. He doesn't have much talent. So we got to trade him, and they traded him to Denver. And the Denver Broncos' current general manager, General Payton, what did he do? Oh, yeah. He got the Panthers to pay most of his salary and only gave up a 6th-round pick for Teddy Bridgewater, who's desperately needed to give Drew Locke that desperate, motivation to play better this year. And my conclusion is there are a lot of people that in Broncos country and Denver and the media, national media, who think that Drew Locke has no chance to win, but over the last 10 practices of training camp, according to Score, Drew's won I think it was 5, Teddy's won 4, and there was 1 tie, I think. This is all opinion, but this is what I've heard. I'm getting most of my sourcing from Mile High Huddle. They're a Sports Illustrated Denver local podcast, write articles, all that. And so and the key is here, everyone says they'll go with Teddy. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Drew's still going to win. And he's winning currently, in my opinion, even though Vic Fangio says no one's winning. But Drew Locke's going to win the competition. He hasn't thrown as many interceptions. He hasn't had a blow-up day in camp. So, yeah, I have Drew Locke winning the competition. And just for an honorable mention, I'd like to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, yeah, I forgot about them. Jalen Hurts is going to be out Joe Flacco, obviously. I mean, unless they get to the playoffs, then you put in Joe Flacco and he takes you to the promised land in the Super Bowl. Moving on, the Colts lost Carson Wentz, so it's going to be a battle between, what's his name, Jacob Eason, former 5th-round pick, potential 1st-round pick, but fell, and Sam Ehlinger of Texas. I think Jacob Eason's going to win that one, unless the Colts trade for Nick Foles, which I don't think they are. But that concludes my episode today. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Share this video with your friends and family, and have a wonderful day.